Tonight, a witness reveals the moments before Kayla Golding was killed.
The push to close the gap in remote education.
Mayor Troy Thompson's calls to dissolve the council.
And why apex shark species are on the decline.
This is 7 News with Rob Brough and Joanne Desmond.
Good evening, thanks for joining us.
Good evening.
A key witness to the fatal stabbing of Townsville woman Kayla Golding has described the moments leading up to her death. The court heard her alleged killer had accused Kayla of messaging her boyfriend. Chanel Macbeth was in court.
The Townsville Supreme Court heard from Erica McConnell, who was in the bedroom at the time of the fatal stabbing at the Riverway Drive unit complex. The prosecution alleges Shantae White stabbed Kayla Golding in the neck with a knife in May 2021. White has pleaded not guilty to her murder. The court was played audio of a 000 call made by Miss McConnell, where she told emergency services no one was able to help Miss Golding, who was lying on the driveway. She also told the court in the moments before her death, Kayla's alleged killer accused her of messaging her boyfriend, before telling her, "I'm going to bash you," and grabbing a knife. Miss McConnell claims Kayla's then boyfriend, Jamie McAuliffe, told her to tell the police she didn't remember anything. McAuliffe has pleaded not guilty to being an accessory after the fact. Another witness told the court White mumbled to him she was going to kill Kayla 3 days before her death. Defence barrister Harvey Walters cast doubt on that witness's ability to recall facts due to his extensive criminal history and drug use. The trial will continue tomorrow, with police and forensic officers expected to give evidence next.
Hundreds of school representatives met this morning to be the voice for children and parents navigating remote and regional education. The Isolated Children's Parents Association advocates to government so that distance is no longer a barrier.
Hundreds of teaching staff have gathered in this school hall to help close the gap in remote education.
There's adversity and there are challenges when you live in not the normal mainstream urban areas. And we're here to provide that voice for those students and those families.
There are 45 Isolated Children's Parents Association branches across Queensland, all campaigning for their community's families.
After 53 years, the motions keep coming in. We've got 71 brought by branches from all around the state.
Sam Clements is raising his 2 children on a farm in Cunnamulla. He's at this conference advocating to bring the kindergarten age bracket down to 3 years.
In a community of 1,200 people, it's a huge loss if there's 10 or 15 families and one of those people aren't working.
And supporting the remote workforce is critical in a decentralised state like Queensland.
If there's not access to education, you don't have families coming to those areas.
We're currently going around the state doing a major review, the first in 30 years, of the way we do resource schools and whether they're a really accurate reflection of what schools need.
But the LNP is concerned workforce shortages will only make the current resourcing issues worse.
Shockingly, since the 2020 election, they've also lost 12,500 teachers to the system.
Imogen Brooks, 7 News.
The Mayor has demanded the dissolution of council on the eve of a vote of no confidence against him. In a Facebook post today, Troy Thompson called for an investigation into all correspondence of his staff. He claims political interference is behind the calls for his resignation.
I take this as a personal insult to my integrity and the integrity of my 9 fellow councillors.
The Mayor has declined to speak to 7 News about the matter.
The expansion of the Eloise copper mine will help North Queensland grow its booming mining trade, but also place greater pressures on the existing infrastructure. Now the city's key advisory group is calling for more funding for the roads and port that will support the industry.
It's tipped to be the next big boom for North Queensland.
We know that with the $500 billion of critical minerals that are in the ground there is going to be large investment.
With the looming expansion of the Eloise copper mine near Cloncurry, Townsville, as the primary refinery and export location, will need an upgrade of its supporting infrastructure.
So it's the copper string project, it's the widening of the port channel, it's the common user processing facilities all coming together.
It's also important to support the small communities that facilitate the mining process. Some upgrades are underway, but more needs to be done.
We've done the first step, which is the widening of the channel, but that doesn't get us new berths. We do need another, $300 million to expand the port going further.
And the Flinders Highway is the next focus.
That is one of the most efficient highways. It contributes about $10 billion every year to the federal government, and we haven't seen significant upgrades on the Flinders highways for decades.
$400 million from the recent federal budget went into Brough Highway upgrades, but there's hope the coming state budget will deliver more funds.
I think we are in the pressure cooker now. We have major wind and solar projects starting in Unandin. We have major expansions at Cloncurry, Julia Creek for vanadium, copper in Cloncurry, and we have Mount Isa still going ahead with zinc production.
Imogen Brooks, 7 News.
A new study has revealed sharks off Queensland are becoming smaller and scarcer, and mesh nets are to blame. Researchers at the University of the Sunshine Coast say the decline could be detrimental to our marine ecosystem.
Apex sharks are crucial to the marine food web along the Queensland coast, but a new study has revealed tiger sharks, great whites and other shark species are declining.
Human disturbance, human impacts in the ocean has really resulted in a shift in the diversity.
Dr. Chris Henderson at the University of the Sunshine Coast says that shift can be attributed to several factors, including the mesh nets used for the state's shark control program.
There's definitely ways that we could improve how the program is, implemented, and whether that's improving technology.
Dr. Henderson claims the decline could impact our coastal environment and reef health. There are calls to replace the 27 Queensland nets with drum lines, ideally year-round. Since 1989, New South Wales has removed netting during whale migration season.
We just really wish the department would follow what New South Wales did, which is take nets out.
Today, a whale became entangled in shark netting off the Sunshine Coast.
Look, we had a record number of entanglements last year, and we fear that it's going to be even worse this year.
In a statement, Fisheries Queensland said the government will continue to work to reduce the risk of shark bites through the existing program and also trial new mitigation technologies. Tom Duffy, 7 News.
The state government has held a special forum to discuss the future of international students in Queensland. More than 60 education experts and students shared insights into ways the government can better attract and retain our visitors.
Sharing their stories, teachers and students gathered to explain how the international education sector could be better supported.
They can all actually hear our words, and we can just actually have a voice to share our journey to them.
The event held at UniSC was run by the state government to ensure it's actively addressing concerns and fostering better connections. A key issue discussed was a lack of housing options for internationals.
Our growth is now going up since COVID, which is great to see, and we are now much more conscious of the needs of international students.
So I found it really interesting. They're talking about how to overcome those barriers and how to welcome more the international student community.
1/3 of the state's international students are in regional areas.
Where we do actually have international students, they provide a sound source of labour.
It also brings a boost to the state's tourism economy. Education is the second largest source of overnight visitor expenditure, bringing in $1.5 billion last year.
Making sure they stay here is really important because we're growing and regions are so important to Queensland's growth.
Rebecca Jensen, 7 News.
The Museum of Underwater Art is hosting an exclusive tour to celebrate World Ocean Day this Saturday. SeaLink has partnered with the museum to allow guests to explore the underwater installations at John Brewer Reef. Marine scientists and conservationists will also take part in the event to highlight the importance of protecting the reef.
It's a unique experience. There's 8 ocean sentinels. We're going to have 4 live sentinels talking on the vessel and given their experience and their knowledge.
And tickets are available on the SeaLink website.
We'll take a break in a moment. Scientists discover a new way to monitor children's brain health.
And the Townsville Turf Club prepares to celebrate 150 years.
Nice having it with us here on 7 News. There's been a major shift in Queensland's emergency services with the formal establishment of the State Emergency Service and Marine Rescue Queensland under new laws. Both services now fall under the Queensland Police Service, which will coordinate the state's disaster response, aiming to enhance efficiency and effectiveness.
What a great moment in history it is for us to gather today to acknowledge a bright new future for emergency services here in Queensland.
Mark Armstrong has been appointed the first Chief Officer of the SES, while Tony Wolfe will lead Marine Rescue.
Queensland researchers are using AI to help detect developmental delays in children. They've created a computer program that monitors kids' brains while they sleep.
This computer-generated growth chart is changing the way children's development is monitored.
We use artificial intelligence to determine the age of the brain, not the age of the child.
It was tested as part of a study conducted by QIMR Berghofer. Around 2,000 kids were monitored while they slept.
Using the electroencephalogram, which is a measurement of your brain activity.
An AI program then uses the data to estimate the brain's age compared to the actual age of the child.
What the AI is able to do is actually able to look at the waveform at a millisecond level and really try and tease out some of these fluctuations that are occurring.
It helps determine whether the child is progressing normally and can detect any delays faster. The study varies from the usual indicators paediatricians look at, such as speech, height and weight. Researchers say this new tool is an exciting step forward to better understanding the developing brain.
Supporting when a child's brain is still developing and putting resources in place at that time will actually be the thing that will make a difference.
Rebecca Jensen, 7 News.
One of the oldest clubs in Townsville has the champagne on ice ahead of a significant milestone. Cluden Park will be aflooded with fascinators and race day fashions this weekend as Townsville Turf Club celebrates 150 years.
It's North Queensland's richest race for 2-year-old thoroughbreds, and not surprisingly, Cluden Park CEO Wayne Croton is tipping a strong turnout.
We're expecting around 1,500 people coming out this Saturday. Kids are welcome as well, so there's plenty of things for everyone to do.
Started in 1874, the club is one of the oldest in the city.
It's one of the first things that actually came about in Townsville, which is the Townsville Turf Clubs, and to survive this long, it's a testament to the people in the industry.
Brooke Davies is excited to bring this year's fashions trackside with the milliners markets and the Fashions on the Field competition, where even a dark horse can win.
Our Fashions of the Field are for the fashion enthusiasts that like to enter the competitions regularly, but it's also open to those who want to come and have some fun. Our theme this year is A Touch of Gold, so it ties in nicely with our celebration for our 150-year anniversary here at Cluden.
And there will be no long faces amongst footy fans with the Cowboys game streamed on the big screen before a DJ after party. Bethany Ross, 7 News.
Yes, I'm getting there with some pretty mighty celebrations trackside.
Big time. Plenty of great memories at that Cluden Park, Joe, that's for sure.
Alrighty. We'll get into the sport. Now, Cowboy Jake Granville, goodness me, one tough man, Nathan.
What a story this is, Brough. It's been revealed the hooker tore his bicep early in that Roosters game and still played the whole 80 minutes. We'll have more on that next. As Billy Slater, he's backing Cowboy Tom Dearden to get the job done for Queensland in his Origin return tomorrow night. And welcome back. Well, Queensland coach Billy Slater hasn't ruled out making any late changes to his starting side for tomorrow night's opening Origin, with a final call to be made closer to kick-off. The starting halves, they are set in stone though, and Billy's backing Cowboy Tom Dearden to get the job done in his return.
Tom Dearden has everything Billy Slater wants in a mighty maroon.
He competes, he's tough, he does his job for the team and he cares.
26 hours to go and Tom's on track for his second Origin game. He'll start in the halves alongside Daly Cherry Evans.
He does the job every time he plays, Tommy. I don't think anyone's watched Tommy play and, thought that he hasn't done the job.
There's no changes to the starting 13 so far, but that's not to say there won't be.
We've still got a little bit of time to go, but we'll make that decision closer to kick-off.
Unlike New South Wales, who were forced to bring James Tedesco into camp after the Blues captain was originally dropped. The fullback was called into camp on Sunday after Dylan Edwards was ruled out through injury.
Definitely made sure that we're aware of, Tedesco's strengths. He's a different type of player to Dylan Edwards.
He was a champion the way he took the message, and he's a champion to be able to come back in. So looking forward to bringing his experience now.
And the Blues got a sneak peek of Accor Stadium last night in full force, but they weren't the stars of the show. That was the Matildas in their 2-0 win over China.
It was good, They're extremely talented, The atmosphere was unbelievable, so hopefully we get something like that tomorrow night.
Both sides had their captains run today. Tomorrow's game kicks off at 8:05 p.m. Emma Halliday, 7 News.
Whatever happens tomorrow night will determine how the Cowboys side looks for Saturday night's home game against the Warriors. North Queensland coach Todd Payton today named all 6 of his Origin players in the reserves.
There will be plenty of nervous onlookers tomorrow night, but none more so than the Cowboys coach.
We'll talk to our medical team and then obviously look at the flow of the game, how much impact they had, their workload, and make a decision what's best for them and the group.
He's named an extended squad of 24 players, including those 6 Origin stars in the reserves. And pending that availability, last week's 2 18-year-old debutants could get a second shot. Tom Chester comes back into the side. He was ruled out last minute against the Roosters.
Every indication at the moment is looking great.
It was one of the Cowboys' gutsiest wins all season, built on individual toughness, and Jake Granville proved that more than most. The 35-year-old played the full 80 after tearing his bicep in the 7th minute.
And he managed somehow to play the rest of the game, which is one of the toughest and most courageous performances I've seen for a long time, and nowhere to hide in the middle with tackling and passing. It's an outstanding effort, and he's a big reason why we won the game.
It means Sam McIntyre comes into hooker if Reece Robson isn't fit. Meanwhile, the Warriors have a long list of players ready to return and boost their side. Fullback Chance Nickel-Klukstad, hooker Wade Egan, centre Rocco Berry and back rowers Kurt Capewell and Tohu Harris are back from injury or illness. Emma Halliday, 7 News.
And the Blackhawks may have the bye this weekend in the Q Cup, but 2 Townsville players will be having a longer break than expected. Jaden Hodges and James Tarmer have both been charged following Saturday's 10-point win over the Brisbane Tigers. Both players are facing 1-match suspensions with an early guilty plea for dangerous contact. We'll see what happens there, and we'll see what happens tomorrow night. Origin fever in the air. Bring it on, guys. Can't wait.
Yeah, thank you, Nath.
All right, we'll stay with us after the break. Livio joins us and he'll have all the weather details for us.
Hi there, Livio Regano with tonight's weather. The change of season's been particularly dramatic this winter. After one of the warmest and dampest autumns in a long time, the sudden drop in temperatures hit like a ton of bricks and caught many of us off guard. Our jumpers still covered in dust and smelling musty from being stuffed in a closet all year. Overnight minimum temps have been the main talking point among townsfolk. The mercury fell to just 10 degrees in Bowen early this morning and 13 at Townsville Airport, but max temps were about average. To the satellite loop first, you can see, although it's clear across the eastern half of Queensland now, it will be short-lived. There's a new band of cloud moving in from the west that's linked to a cold front and trough, which will advance across the state tomorrow. There'll be cloudy periods, probably very little rain, maybe some showers on Thursday over southern parts, then clearing again after that. So today's chart is a little high sitting on top of southeast Queensland, keeping conditions not only dry, but also very light wind situation right across that area, as you normally get near the centre of high, and that's resulted in widespread frost right up to the central highlands and certainly over the Darling Downs and Granite Belt. Lots of areas as well between 1 and 3 degrees overnight. The chart for tomorrow has the high going offshore. We've got a new trough coming in from the west now and an upper level system following it. So there will be a little bit of cloud right up to the Capricorn region. We're expecting little if any rain though at this stage. And then on the outlook chart, we got the trough moving offshore. This will be the chance of showers during its passage in the southeast. Once it goes off, a new cold outbreak coming in for the weekend. To the latest now from BOM. Boating forecast for Townsville waters. Light variable winds under 10 knots tomorrow. Beautiful boating conditions. Getting there before Thursday because the south-southeasterly comes in. Not too strong, but up to 20 knots at times. Same for Friday. We're almost on new moon, so the ocean's really pulsing and the rise and fall of the tide is really noticeable. Tomorrow's high tides in the morning and low in the afternoon. Herbert and Lower Burdekin, a fine though partly cloudy day. Townsville 19 degrees tonight, a bit warmer. 29 tomorrow. Ayr 28, Ingham 29. Northern Goldfields and Upper Flinders, bright and sunny. Charters Towers 14 up to 26 degrees. Georgetown 28. Looking ahead for Townsville, no rain of any note is being predicted for the next 7 days. At best just a few transient clouds with plenty of sunshine in between. Expect to rug up at night this weekend. And that's all for the first Tuesday of winter. Hope you're enjoying the change of season. I certainly am. It's my favourite time of year in Queensland. Nice and cool yet lots of sunshine. Catch you on the rebound. Now it's back to the team.
Great, thanks for that, Livio. And that's all from us for this Tuesday. Thanks for your company.
And of course, anything you'd like to watch again, try our 7plus app or our page, 7news.com.au. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow night. Good night.
Good night.